Okay. Thanks, Jamie, for recording. And hi, everybody. Welcome to Campus Zoom for March, the first one for March. It's already March. Too much time going too quickly. We have an agenda with lots of announcements, so I want to make sure I get those done. This is like a great way to get a town hall going with all of these really important announcements. So a reminder that Friday is Malama Kekahi I Kekahi, taking care of ourselves and others. And it is a morning of professional development and personal development. And I don't know if you've had a look at the schedule, but there's a huge number of sessions concurrently. I don't know how we're going to be able to get to see all of the stuff that's been planned for that day. Do register. The link is in the agenda. So it is a non-instructional day, which means that if you're instructional faculty, you should not be in your classrooms and you should not be requiring students to meet with you remotely on that day. It is a day for professional and personal development, and I would encourage everyone to participate and ask that supervisors allow their employees to also participate in that morning time. In the afternoon, from 1 till 3, Kara will be convening all interested parties to take a really long, hard, and enriching look at our mission statement. As part of the strategic planning process, we get to review our mission statement, and the mission statement is going to drive the strategic plan and all that we do on the campus. And the strategic plan is going to drive what all the units do, because we are going to be, I am going to ask you, each of the units, to create an annual implementation plan connected to the strategic plan, which is connected to the mission. So it's in everybody's best interest to be at the table when we talk about our mission. So that's on the afternoon of March 4. And there is, if you go to the registration site for the morning session, you'll find a link to our afternoon session as well. And maybe Kara will talk more about that when she talks about strategic planning later on this morning. Afternoon, so sorry. Let's see. Talent show, Friday is going to be like full of cool stuff. So morning is the system-wide professional development. Afternoon is our mission summit. And then after that, we can all relax and pay attention to KCC's Got Talent. And that's a BOSA thing, face-to-face in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the cafeteria. And we were asked to RSVP, so make sure you do that. And that's on the agenda as well. There's a Canada Leadership Award, and Lavashay, you're on, I think, yeah? You want to talk about that a little bit? Or Lynn, or both?
Thanks, Louise. Lynn, do you want to start?
Okay. Thank you very much. I want to say, Chancellor, for the challenge that you had attached to that crowdfunding campaign in support of the students. We are over 50%. We're halfway to our goal of endowing 35,000 for Luna Lila scholars in their second year. So again, this is a very special initiative because it was from the students' hearts. It's mostly student doing a lot of the advertising and asking and sharing in the network. And today, I have one of our alumni students who is joining us from Oregon. Jen Wong Ala, are you here? And Jen was in our very first cohort of Luna Lila Scholars 10 years ago. So this is the 10th anniversary. She's in Oregon right now getting her PhD in oceanography. I want to remind you that it's because of the wonderful education that she received here first. And This is the caliber of students that we help get through the system. And so please join us. But I'm going to shoot it over for Jen to share a little message.
Yeah, thanks, Lynn, for that introduction. Aloha, everyone. Yeah, so my name is Jen. I'm coming from Oregon State, Corvallis, Oregon, where Lynn mentioned I'm getting my PhD. I see some familiar names here with people I've taken courses with and worked for. So at KCC, I was so in the Luna Lilo Scholars Program, and then was a Luna Lilo Scholars and a peer mentor, as well as working in the KCC STEM Center for some years, actually, and moving over to Manoa. But you could always find me at KCC hanging out in Iliahi, or where the old first year office would be. And yeah, so this kind of fundraiser was, I was brought into it by another student who it was kind of her brainchild, along with others like Labashe and Lynn at UH Foundation. And it's really just been a pleasure getting to share this and endow and work on endowing a second year scholarship for students, because currently Luna Lilo only covers the first year, and excuse me, and it's and when, and I think of like, oh wow, this will be a second year program, I think I immediately told Abashe, who I still talk to quite a lot, wow, wouldn't it have been cool if we had a second year? Like that would have been like, amazing. And so I think how awesome would it be for students to have that opportunity. But as Lynn mentioned, we're right up now at 51%. I'm looking at the website, and it's really great to see we've had 100 donors so far, and really appreciate the Chancellor getting us that 5,000, and we've really made a lot of headway doing the Chancellor's Challenge as well, getting 30 plus people to donate, as well as I've seen a lot of familiar names with faculty and staff who's donated at KCC. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing and donating, and we really appreciate all of your continued support.
Before the Chancellor Challenge, it was I think we were pretty sad about at how much more, and the Chancellor, matching, giving that gift after unlocking 30 donations, just I think really gave us this boost of energy, and we're so grateful, Louise, to you for doing that and kind of getting us over that hump. And now we're seeing a lot of momentum around this initiative that the students, started themselves, which I think is the most exciting part of it. And thank you to all the faculty and staff. Many of you are on today that made a donation. We still need help, so if you've got, if you can spare a plate lunch or a Starbucks coffee this week and donate $10, we would greatly appreciate anything, I think. And what's so cool about this is it will be endowed, so forever it will be a second year scholarship, and something for the students to look forward to. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. And I think for me, the motivation to give was that this was the initiative of the students in the program who said, we want to do this for the donors. So to me, that shows a lot of initiative, and it shows a lot of not courage as much as determination. And so I chose to celebrate that determination. And so please feel free to go online and give what an equivalent of a plate lunch to support the student scholarship. Thank you. Thank you, Jen, for being here from Oregon. Wish we could give you a little sunshine. I'm sure it's not as warm and sunny where you are. But thank you for your good thinking and your good words. Thanks so much. And your success, my God, PhD.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it was great getting to join you all today and see you all, and thank you in person, as much as in person as we can.
That's
yeah,
right.
Thank you so much.
This is what counts as in person these days. All right. Roman, I didn't give you a chance to talk about the talent show, if you're here. Are you here? Maybe not. Lee, do you want to say anything about the morning of March 4? you just put the registration link, so I thought maybe you wanted to. grab a
I
look.
would be happy to. We're really excited to share this first event that incorporates all 7 community colleges, the first one in 2 years. We're really excited about the opportunity for us to get back in touch with our colleagues from the other institutions. And we're excited about the theme. We all need a little caring right now. So the idea of caring for our students, each other and ourselves, I think it's a timely one. So looking forward to seeing you all there.
Too many sessions, Lee. Too many good ones. Okay. Jenny, you want to talk about classes in carts?
Sure, why not? All right. Hey guys, so it is on March 24th, and as always, we're always looking for more volunteers. So just please spread the word for volunteering. I'll put in the link in the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Jenny. It takes 7 instances before people move. So if you have some time on March the 24th, please do consider facilitating and helping out with classes in carts. Again, motivated by student initiative. This is the students' project. This is the students who thought about it as a response to my question to all the 4 AGOs about how can we help promote student retention and re-enrollment. And so this was the Student Congress's idea, and I would very much like to support the success of that initiative. So thank you, Jenny. And classes in carts, March 24. Okay, moving through the agenda, let's move to strategic planning. And I know that Kara is here to update us and tell us a little bit more about what's happening on March 4.
Yes, that's right. So thank you, everybody. And I know I will be facilitating that day, but it's only going to be as great as the folks who show up for it and participate. So I really appreciate what folks have done in the Bigger Ideas board. You have until the end of the day today to input whatever you'd like. I'm closing it tomorrow morning, so you will have time. And I was lucky enough today, I finally reached out to some folks who offered to volunteer as data analysts. So the data divers met this morning, and we started going through some of those themes already emerging from both convocation conversations. And we're really going to try to be a little bit more targeted and get into, I don't want to say controversy, but I would say that right now we have some great general ideas, but we're going to have to push a little bit to be more specific. So we'll work towards that together as a group. So for example, we have a lot of people who said we serve students, but what does that mean? Do we want to get more specific? So having those conversations, that's going to happen. And I'd love to take a moment and walk you through the new strategic planning website. I think it's so fabulous. So thank you, Raphael, who also celebrated 10 years with us this week. So congrats for that. I'm sharing my desktop now. And okay, so you'll see here the mission statement. So folks already started filling this out and what we do, for example. And I love that you can come in here and you can sort by first, what's trending. I also like to see what's most unifying. So where we have some similarities in view. So really you can dig in and play with the data and make it anonymous as well if you'd like. And I would say focus more on what we see for overall for the campus. I know it's easy to really want to advocate for your program, your unit, your department, but we have to kind of I know contradicting, it's like kind of a bigger picture, but then also we have to have substance to what we're saying. So that's the balancing act. Okay, so I'm sure you all can get there just by clicking the strategic updates, and it's just called Strat Plan 22. So it's on the Ohana site. You can also get there from the continuous improvement bar. So you can share your voice. This will sound off at the Bigger Ideas board. You can find out how to help participate in strategic planning through the Google form here. And then a nice timeline that I've developed using Google Tools. The calendar event, you can see I'm here right now presenting, taking off vacation for the third Wednesday, and I don't know if we'll be having a meeting during spring break, if Chancellor, you're having updates then or not. So you can see what my vision is kind of going forward for the rest of the semester. Louise and I are going to talk a little bit about this April 8th date, and may also end up putting something on the calendar in May. Let's just talk through that. Thank you, Sunny, for sharing. And then this is fun too. All the slides are embedded. So what I wanted to share is I'm here today. This is the mission planning. This is what we're going to do going forward. So we have the mission summit. We're hoping to get this draft ready for April 4th. Then it's going to go through AGOs for March and April. It'll get passed out through Student Congress newsletter, so our students will know. Everybody will have an opportunity to provide feedback on what they think of that mission statement. Those issues will be addressed at April CHC, and then hopefully in May, CAC can vote on that. So that's where we're going forward with just that mission alone. And then in April and May, looking more at the goals in the visioning conferences to get that all set. I think that's everything I have. If there's, I'm going to stop sharing and ask if you have any questions.
Questions or comments? Anything you'd like to say or ask? Chat is okay. Unmute is okay too. Okay. Then please do take the link for March 4th. Join us. It's virtual. And we really need to have folks there. Again, the mission statement drives the institution. It will drive the strategic plan and everything that we do at the campus. So you want to be there to make sure that your good thinking is included in the conversations. Okay, thanks, Kara.
Thank
That's
you. And I
great.
just shout out because Dale mentioned something in the comments. So Nikki and Dale and Yoshi today, we all met as a group. So thank you for your help with the data diving.
Thank you. Okay. The other update is telework. It's not quite a 4-letter word, but it sure did make everybody get headaches. So to recap, we have 2 policies now. We have one, and I see some folks from HR, so they're going to make sure that I don't misstep here. We have 2 policies. One is a telework policy, which is going forward a permanent way that the university can deliver its services and instruction. But instruction, not so much part of telework, services mostly. So that telework policy was supposed to be in effect January 3rd, but really everything got pushed because we were trying to struggle with forms and all of that other kind of stuff. So there were, as of 5 o'clock on Monday afternoon, 5 o'clock Monday afternoon, I received 32 requests for telework from across the campus, which is, I think, a small percentage of eligible people. And again, faculty mostly were not included in that because of all of the things that we know about the status of especially instructional faculty. So 32 requests. They were reviewed by me. They were forwarded to Erica and Mike at about that same time. And they are currently under review by senior leadership. And until such time as we have final approval from Erica, she has to sign all of these pieces of paper for all of the campuses. So I don't know what the timeline is for her to put her signature on those request forms. In the meantime, I'm asking that those employees who have been recommended for telework to log the days manually that you are teleworking. Because right now, if you go to the online leave system and you want to document telework leave, you have to be able to click the box that says, yes, it's been approved. And it has not yet been approved. So please log in your dates on a piece of paper or on a spreadsheet or something that you can keep track of, so that once we get the paper back from Erica, then you will be able to go online and then submit all at once for those days of approval. I know that Mike has already reviewed all of our requests. He had some questions which I need to get back to a couple of people on campus about. And so I was very heartened to see that he had done that so quickly. I want everyone to understand also, and I'm going to put this in a memo so it's documented, that I'm expecting a 3-month evaluation period, so that at the end of this semester, that supervisors sit down with the folks that requested telework and really have a really in-depth discussion about, were the unit's needs met, and how did it work? Did it work the way everybody thought it would? So I will be sending out a memo to everyone saying that there's this first 3-month evaluation period, and then we will reassess all of the requests, make adjustments if there are adjustments necessary. So that's the one policy. The second policy is a revised COVID policy. And that COVID policy is in effect when employees are impacted by COVID. So it's possible that someone who is approved for telework can also get the COVID policy in effect if they are subject to COVID impact. So for instance, if I'm approved to telework 2 days a week, but I am in contact with someone with first contact, right? Or I develop COVID, I might need to take 5 days off, but I'm only approved for 2 days off. So then I would submit a COVID telework request. So it could probably be more confusing, but not much more confusing. And that's the two policies. Now, I would like to open this to either Darsh or Linda from HR, correct anything I've said, provide better explanations, and then we'll open for questions. So Darsh and or Linda.
The only thing that I would like to add is that you have to do your Lumicide check-in every day. So if the Lumicide check-in says no and you're not able to enter the campus, then you apply the COVID-19 revised policy that take into place effect from March 1st. And then you request the telework if you're eligible to work remotely. That's the difference between the one that is revised and currently in effect and the telework that's non-COVID related. Also, the work plan, the form itself was updated on March 1st. So if you're applying for telework after today, you should be using the new updated telework plan, which has slightly more questions that you need to answer. Otherwise, the workflow process is pretty much the same as before. Thank you.
Thanks, Darsh. Okay, open for questions. If employees who put in the request to telework, are they to be physically on campus until they are approved for telework? No. What I suggested to the ELT and to supervisors was that my recommendation would be considered enough of an authorization to begin teleworking as of yesterday, And that's why I'm asking folks to log their time manually. If you are an employee and you have not submitted a request to telework as of today, then you are expected to be here on campus. Does that help? Thanks.
Louise, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
This is Jennifer. So the telework that we submitted, and thank you, which one was it? Was that,
That was the permanent telework.
okay, I just want to make certain, I didn't realize there was this other telework too.
Yeah. It was the permanent one, Jennifer. And you got kudos for putting together your schedule, as did Kelt and HIC. They put together a schedule of the office, who's going to be where, when. And Mike was very appreciative of that. So thank you for having done that so well. Other questions? If they come up as we go through this presentation, feel free to put it in the chat. We'll make sure we get to them. And if your question comes up after this Zoom, you know how to find me. So just feel free to post questions anytime. There were a bunch of questions that were submitted to the agenda. One is about the relationship of Governor Ige and the city and county, actually, the mayors, announcements about the COVID-19 restrictions that are being changed at the state level or the county level, and whether or not those things apply to us, and they do not. We are governed by the university pronouncements, and so until such time as President Lassner or UH Office of Human Resources comes forward with some different constraints or lifting of constraints, we operate as we have done since the beginning of this semester. So nothing changes for us on the campuses, even though governor says whatever he would like to say about the state. We do not have to do that. And I'm not aware of any movement anywhere to make changes at the university at this time. Questions about that? Short answer is we operate as we have done since January. Then there's a question about what does anyone need to do to prepare for face-to-face teaching? Brian says it's in the agenda. Nothing you need to buy unless you want it for yourself. We haven't, as Brian says, we haven't had any conversations about what the fall would look like if there are any changes that in policies or anything else. But let me ask Maria to be sure. Maria, at the VCAA table, are you hearing anything specific about how fall may be or may not be different?
No, the only thing that we have been discussed is to increase the number of face-to-face classes. That's the only thing that has been discussed. Even I think masks still going to be required for us for now. That has not been lifted. So all those teaching face-to-face must still wear a mask, and also the students should be wearing a mask in the classroom. Those are the only things, but other than that, nothing.
Okay. Questions about policies or the impact of Governor Ige or fall or anything at all?
Hi, Chancellor. This is Sean at Honda.
Hi, Sean.
Hi. This is just, I think faculty is aware of this because there's been some discussion circulating already, but just a quick reminder, since we have a little time to mention that the CVIS regulations regarding the international students, F1 international students being able to take classes entirely online, at least the continuing students, is likely going to be ending this May. And so we do anticipate for the summer and fall, the regular pre-COVID regulations, which would require students to take 9 of the 12 credits in person. So just some encouragement for the faculty to consider that as they're planning the summer and fall schedule, and that we will likely need to have those students be enrolled in person or hybrid, please.
Are there, I'm sorry, white guy, are there particular classes for the summer that would be helpful for international students? Do you have any sense of what would work best for them for summer?
Typically, the students that are coming in summer, they tend to be students that have graduated right out of high school. Our largest influx of F1 students for summer does come directly from high school, though we do have transfers too. So that the basic courses that usually accommodate for that population would be, of course, the ESL 94, which we work closely with the faculty on. We will have the IEP class as well. But aside from that, I guess some of the math classes would be good so they can clear some of the holds. We typically do not have students go directly into an English 100 in summer, aside from them coming from spring, but usually not. But courses that would generally not require much English proficiency would be beneficial, maybe something in art or some in the arts or the music, something of that sort might be helpful. But for summer, as I'm sure most people are aware of here, the students need not be enrolled in 12 credits. It's 6 credits for summer. And of the 6 credits, half of that load, so 3 credits will need to be in person minimally is the plan for newly admitted students in the summer.
Sean, do they need to be in both sessions?
They need to just show, for CVIS purposes, we only have 1 summer issuance date. So as long as they've completed both 6 credits by the summer, that's fine. The challenge is, and that's a great question, Chancellor, is the issuance, the date on the I-20 only reflects the start date of the first the first session. So that would mean that the student doesn't need to take classes in the first session, but they should be in the US prior to that start date, or else they're going to have problems entering at a later time because of that 1 issuance date. Yeah.
Okay. Guy, you had a question.
It's one of those questions that's risks being a comment just because the data is so hard to capture. But I'm just thinking about the fall, and I want to echo, some of the ideas that Sean mentioned. I know at the department level, a lot of times we will ask faculty, well, what would you like to teach? Would you like to teach face-to-face? We're being encouraged to offer some more face-to-face, but what would you like? And I'm wondering if what data, if any, we might be able to gather at the level up, let's say the admin level, to sort of inform those decisions. For example, when we talked about this at one of our department meetings, we realized we just don't know what students want, right? So we have all these wants and needs that are competing. And my bias, of course, is that I just want to make sure we've got a balance so that international students can take classes. That's where I'm coming from. But I know that this has to be a data-based decision. I also know that international students are not in the majority, but very important to the college nonetheless, because when we admit them, we're essentially saying, we will take care of it, we got you. And I want to avoid a situation where students might come and then not have classes or put undue pressure on the international office who oversees their visa, their I-20. So that's really what it is. Like, what is the relationship between the administration? Would it be appropriate at the dean's level, for example, to say, hey, give me this percentage online, give me this percentage face-to-face, go fill your seats? Is that something we can do?
I'll let Maria speak to that because I know that there have been exactly those kinds of conversations. Maria.
When I met with the counselors, they were saying that a lot of students are either not in school because they don't like online classes or would rather have face-to-face classes. If not face-to-face, they said that synchronous online is better than asynchronous online. So, and then I think Mickey has also been asking the students, the incoming students, on their preferences, and some of them are saying, a lot of them are saying face-to-face classes too. So I think it would be good for, I mean, we don't have numbers. I mean, no, we don't have, we didn't do a survey or anything like that. It's just what the counselors have shared with me. So I've talked to the department chairs and told them about this. And so we're trying to get as many face-to-face classes as possible. And also, I mean, no, everything depends on so many things, right? I mean, the faculty, are they willing to do a face-to-face class? Are they, are they worried about COVID and all of those things? So they're trying hard to put as many online face-to-face classes as possible for the fall semester.
And I think there was a request also to make them classes that make sense together. So it's not just a sprinkling of whoever wants to. It's like, can we deliver a pathway of liberal arts classes face-to-face?
Yeah.
Jump in. Sorry, may I jump in, because I do have the data. So this is a bit different than what our students have been saying through the data and the enrollment trends from last semester. So I'm all for us getting more face-to-face, but I have over 3,000 students who had taken a survey, and we know from that online asynchronous was their preferred modality. And we didn't say anything about it being just for spring 2022. We made it very clear that it was a general preference. Something I did talk to Maria about earlier was for us to actually run another survey, and this time include snail mail flyers. Maybe we even go and do previous folks, and we can, put a QR code for them to take a survey again, just because that would help us. Sorry, Shannon, you distracted me in the comments. I was on a roll.
Sorry, I just know some people got really upset by the Student Congress data, so I know it wasn't a perfect thing.
Right, it's never going to be perfect, and that's why I backed it up with enrollment trends that showed we had 80% of our online classes filled, and I think 60% of our face-to-face. So we can definitely, and actually I have something I haven't shared with anybody else, but the only area where we've seen growth is with our online only student enrollments. Like everything else has, like from fall to spring, we've seen dips, but that was one population that we actually saw some growth. So I think I would love to see who's taking online classes. Yes, so there's a lot going on now in the chat. Sorry, so I can't focus, but we can definitely continue the conversation, but we can easily see numbers. And I would love to hear too with international students, what they have, they might have that data guy, or I can pull for F1. And I know that Roger did that, my colleague did that a while back, but I really know we can't get all the students who've left too, those students who were face-to-face and left because they didn't want to be online during the pandemic. But at least for the ones who've stuck around, they're used to it. And I'm really proud that we were the first campus to even ask our students what they wanted. And that was huge. And that led to this big survey. And you can go and look at the dashboard and you can break it down by age, gender, campus, major, area of study. So there is data there for to help inform programming. So of course it's different for a student on the Big Island or a culinary student, right? They want to be in person, they want to be working with their hands. But if you have 2 jobs and 3 kids and you live in Waianae, you're not going to want to necessarily try to get to KCC 3 times a week.
Yeah, thanks for those data. I just want to make it clear, I don't want to fall into a trap of like a juxtaposition of pro online or pro face-to-face. It's just a question of finding that balance.
Yes.
So, 15 years ago, we kind of arbitrarily, or maybe there was data to back it up, said, hey, let's get 30% of our classes online. And that kind of gave us the impetus. But I think that the strategy of just asking faculty what they want to do, and then we respond and say, well, I kind of like teaching online now because I've learned these new tools. I'm really excited. That might even describe me, quite frankly. Um, but the bottom line is that you've got like new students who need first year courses on the international side, and they don't need a lot. We're not talking
Right.
about the majority. This is the minority voice talking here, right?
Well, I don't know how much of a minority it is. If you look at the survey, yes, but those were the guys who were here because they were online and they were enjoying it. So I think the key word you mentioned, Guy, is balance. We have to be able to balance the offerings because clearly some people prefer and need online and others prefer and need face-to-face. The challenge is finding the right fit between who and which disciplines. And I think the department chairs are considering those questions. Again, can you offer a set of face-to-face classes that mean something in an AA or an ASNS or AA Hawaiian Studies, so that someone who can actually complete a program of study face-to-face if that's what they choose. So it's going to be a little bit trickier than just saying, hey, what do you want to teach? Because you want to be able to have that balance. So it's a new way of engaging faculty in that schedule building process, which is going on like right now, coming to the tail end of it as well, since it's going to have to go live in a little bit.
Angela,
Louise, can I answer, put a point out is that, what students want and what they're required to have. For the international students, they need the 9 credits of face-to-face. They don't have a choice in this. This is the US government saying, this is what you do. So
Yes.
a student may want to do all the classes online, but if they're not taking 9 credits in the fall, they lose their visa.
Understood.
I just wanted, and I'm really excited, Chancellor had mentioned this idea of maybe doing tracks eventually. So you would have a face-to-face track or an online track. And I think that would be a really, if I were a student and I had those options, it would be very attractive to see, oh, I can get done in 2 years in my liberal arts degree and I know my path forward. So I think that might be something we want to think about in the future. And Angela said about Zoom burnout for high school, but my dissertation chair, he's doing enrollment work looking at K through 12. And for K through 8, we've seen students disappear completely. So we don't know where those children are going. Like they're still on island, but they're not attending school and the Zoom. But actually for high school students, we saw a little bit of a bump with them attending at least. And I'll try to find the data on that.
Yeah.
Currently, the chairs are working on having schedules like face-to-face on Tuesdays and Thursdays with classes that we think students might take, especially the freshmen incoming students. So if you know of what classes the students would prefer to take as face-to-face, it would really help if you let us know, or let the department chairs know, so that they could work on it, because they're all working together to get a schedule wherein the classes are not like spread out all over the place, or they meet on different days. So they're trying to put it all on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I think, and scheduled, like one after the other, so that it's not like they take a class at 9 o'clock and then the next class is at 2 o'clock or something like that. So if you would, if you know what classes these are, it would really help if you let us know.
Thanks, Maria. And there's a lot of questions about data, about what other students are taking. We did get a study just a couple of weeks ago about which classes are our students taking elsewhere and which classes are other students taking on our campus. And there's that sharing of students across all the 7 campuses. With every single campus, the majority of the students are from that campus, but the degree to which there are other students taking classes on that campus varies across the thing. What I can tell you is that Kapi'olani is the second choice on every, we're the first choice on our campus, but we're the second choice on every other campus. So it's home, the majority are home campus. The next highest campus that they take classes from is Kapi'olani. And that's for all the other 6 campuses. So the quality of our offerings is clear to lots of other people. But it's also interesting to see what our students are taking from other campuses. So that data, Maria, you've got that, right?
Yeah.
Was that shared with the department chairs?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so if you're interested and you want to know more about what's happening, try check with your department chair. You'll see it there. Good questions, thank you.
Can I just say really quickly, I mean, we have international students, but we also have a group of students culturally, our Pacific Islanders, our Hawaiian students that are really telling us on the ground that this is not their preferred way to learn. They need relationships, they need to meet people, they need to develop cohorts of people. So I hope we don't discount some of our ethnic groups that really do need this in-person type of connection with our campus. And so we need a balance. I think that's also what is coming out of this. But if, you know, if we sway too far one way, we're gonna miss a whole group of students that, and, you know, I don't know what the success rates are. I'd like to know how are our students doing since we've gone online. I mean, it's one thing what their preference is, but how are they, you know, how successful are they being? I think it's something else we should be looking at.
I think there's some data on that too.
Yeah, there is.
And I
Yes,
don't
and
know.
actually in 2019 for Kapu, I did look and we had a higher percentage of our Native Hawaiian students enrolled in online classes than were representative of our campus. And I just took a quick look, at least the 72 Pacific Islanders that answered the modality survey in fall, they preferred online. And as far as our Native Hawaiian, the 927 Native Hawaiian students also said the same thing. But of course, that's, you know, that's just, so there are some students out there from different groups that do prefer online. And I'll share that link in the chat here.
Thank you. I think it's not what we're hearing on the ground with the students that we're meeting that maybe weren't captured in that data. So I just don't want to discount those voices that we are hearing. And it's not just one voice.
I think what we will do, and this is why those enrollments will be so important going forward. So where our students, so if we discount all the survey data that we've done over the last 5 years or so, if we just look at enrollments, we can start seeing, oh, I can see that there's a bigger proportion of this kind of student demographically enrolling in online compared to another, and that might also help us cover any gaps that might be missed for people who aren't filling out surveys, such as our part-time students, you know, for example.
Yeah, I think that if you look at our success rates though for Pacific Islanders and Native Hawaiians, they're 10 or 20% lower than the rest of our students. And why is that? So I think those are also conversations we have to have around modality, not just student preference.
I think that's sounds like a summer project. Just really taking an important look at what data do we need? Do we have the data that we need and we're not looking at it, or did we not generate that data? So I think it's really maybe a conversation to have at Academic Affairs, Maria, or at CAAC if you guys have some thoughts on what data you want to see. And I think all of this is critical for the department chairs and the faculty to be considering as they plan for the fall. So I really appreciate your sharing the issues and the different populations that may need the same thing for different reasons. So key word is balance, and let's make sure that we can offer a balanced curriculum that is meaningful and makes students have forward progress on a program of study. And not just sprinkled of this and that for no reason. Sean, you're saying we're losing international students, but we don't even have our schedule up yet. They don't know.
No. So we because students need to. Oh, am I on? Oh yeah.
There you
because,
are.
because the students need to plan visas and
Yes.
housing and everything else. Obviously, spring to fall is a little bit more time. Fall to spring is a much shorter time for those students to make those decisions. From the point the classes are being offered to the point of actually coming. And what we do know is that we've been hearing from our contacts overseas is that please let us know when obviously we have COVID and everything else going on, but when you have more course offerings in person, regardless of the F1 mandates, to return to in person, 9 credits in person of 12, and that is because of the whole experience. So there have been a large outflux of students on the front end that specifically left because they said I can do online anywhere else, or and save money, right? Housing costs cannot work, all of those things. So all the things that we typically know, but we do know that we do have international students that are very much interested returning, and whether that happens because of CVIS that says you now have to take those 9 credits of the 12 in person, or whether, my hope is that we'll be able to pace that, somehow transition, be able to, like you said, find some balance. My fear is that if the student does come here, as Guy expressed, the only way they could get around taking, let's say, 9 of the 12 credits, the only way they could take the classes that they might need, if we don't have enough in-person classes, then they need to increase the credit amount that they're taking. So for example, of 12 credits, if 9 of those credits needs to be in person and 3 credits online, but their graduation requirements or the classes of interest moving towards a graduation are only offered online, then they would basically increase the class load for the semester, which would move up to 15 or 18 credits and so forth. And some of the 9 credits in person may be courses that they might not even need at all, but they just need to fulfill the CVIS requirement. And we would like to avoid that. I think we all would like to avoid that.
Yeah, so I think, again, Maria's comment about if you know which classes are required or have any inklings, please do let department chairs know. I need to cut this off right now because there's 2 other things that need to be said. Noel and then Brian. Noel?
Okay, yeah, real quick. Equity, we've been running the second campaign since February 15th with the most recent, looking at the most recent data, about, I would say a little under 900 students combining both credit and non-credit has applied to these funds. We probably have, I don't know, less than 10% of our allocation left to be spent. So thank you all to everybody, because this was a really huge campaign. We had a lot of students register, twice as much as we did last year. So thank you all for reaching out to your students. Looking at the amount we have left, we will probably run this for another week or 2 and then be out of money. So again, encourage your students to apply. Somebody asked the other week about how much the awards were. The awards are between $500 and $1,500. And again, it depends on how you answer the survey. But I'll put the link in the chat for Equity, but please continue to encourage your students to apply because we're looking at maybe 1 or 2 more campaigns and then be finished for the semester. Thank you.
Questions for Noel? Okay. Then I was wrong about Brian needing to say something. No need.
Hi.
What? You told me no.
I'm just saying hi. I wasn't sure what you wanted me to say, so.
No, never mind then. Okay, we're at 4 minutes. No, 6. I can't even do math anymore. 6 minutes to go. Who would like to say what? Sean, another one. Okay, that's for Maria only. Nobody read that. Only Maria can read.
It's going so fast.
Okay, you can slow them down. All right, who's got anything they want to share in the next 5 minutes?
Student Congress is open for elections for the 2022 to 2023 school year. We encourage you to nominate some of your students that you think could really be benefiting from some student development, student leadership opportunities. Please just email me their names and I can reach out to them, or you can just kind of talk to me a little bit more if you want to learn more about Student Congress before you nominate students. But it's been really hard on the organization during the pandemic, and I really am counting on the faculty and staff and administrators of the college to help us regain our student involvement with the organization. So please nominate students. They will receive a nomination letter from me saying that they have been nominated for an executive position. And I would really, really appreciate all of your help in helping us get back to where we once were, of 20 to 30 students coming to our meetings. Now we all fit on one Zoom screen. So it's been a little tough, but if you could please help us, we would deeply appreciate your support.
Thank you, Shannon. Oh, yes. Auntie Coco reminding us that on Saturday is Malama Campus Day. We're going to be cleaning up gardens.
Come out, share some sun, and get dirty with us.
No, Auntie Coco, we don't talk like that.
It's actually really fun. You get to meet a lot of people and, you know, get to hear stories. So, you know, if you have nothing to do on Saturday, come out, support us, and let's beautify our campus.
Okay. Anything else, you guys?
Just a link in the chat. We need volunteers next Friday, March 11th, for our last food distribution for this semester. The link is in the chat.
Last for this semester already?
Please tell your students something will be coming out to them this week, later in the week.
Okay. All right then. Looks like we're done. Last chance. Don't scold me, Brian. Last chance. Okay, then we're done for this March 2nd, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks from today.
You guys all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Take care now.
Wait now, wait. 2 weeks from now is spring break, yeah? Is it?
No,
No?
the week of the 20
No.
something.
Oh,
The 17th.
yeah,
14th.
the 14th. It's 2 weeks. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian,
So-
it's not Thanksgiving yet.
Oh, wow. I was
We'll
in
have to think about
November.
whether or not we're going to have a campus Zoom during spring break, since it's a break and we should really take a break. So let's just say we'll take a break from campus Zooms unless something really, really needs to be discussed more broadly. Enjoy the spring break. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Be safe,
And-
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.